let's talk about some real manly stuff. Like
The manliest
Now,
of things.
now
the
here's
Little
It's not
Mermaid.
the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
here's the question: were you two part of this world, or were you a poor, unfortunate soul after this movie?
All right, which do you want to go first or with me? How do you want to do this?
You go first.
I don't mind going first.
Well, which goes first?
Jake, go first.
Oh,
Okay.
what? Which go?
Okay, I like the movie. There were some things that I didn't like about it. They changed a couple things that I liked, and they changed a couple things and added things that I did not like. But other than that, I enjoyed myself. It was a fun time. Besides the fact that my friend left me at my work to basically just sob off half my makeup. Don't worry about that. I was having a bad day, and this was the movie that made my day better.
Aw.
So it made my day better. I just didn't. I was just like I was outside of my work, and I was trying to fix my makeup, but I wouldn't stop crying because my friend left me there for 2 hours after I clocked out.
I'm about to say might cause some debate, but story wise, it's better written than the original.
For the most part, it plays it safe. It plays it safe. Like you don't have to do anything grandiose to make it a good movie.
It doesn't do much. There are small changes to the story throughout the movie. Where honestly, if you gave the scriptwriters to the original like another pass at that script, it would probably look like this. And I think that actually helps the plot a lot. I
hated that Scuttlebutt song, dude. For the life,
I loved it. I'm sorry, I loved it.
I hated it.
I love that song. I was jamming to it.
Wait, which did you hate the song or did you hate Aquafina singing that song?
I just hated the song and the fact that Aquafina was the one who sang it.
I love that song. I was in the theater. I started jamming to it. I was like, yeah.
Man.
And I'm just saying, Jake, if we were in the same theater, I would have been looking at you, cringing while you were just jamming out.
You were the weirdo. You were the weirdo in the theater, tuning into Scuttlebutt with Jake.
Because I heard there was gonna be a hip hop song in the movie. It's like, oh God, please God, because why? Because she's a black character. Have a hip hop song, but then the way it happened, maybe it caught me off guard. I was just like, "Oh, this isn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be." Oh, yeah, okay.
You want to hear the funny thing about this is that even before the movie came out, people were when the soundtrack came out, people were like, "Oh God, the song is like god awful. Oh my God!" But then I didn't like fully register how much I would actually cringe in the theater. No. I cringed so much. I was like, "Can we go back to Prince Eric's I Want song?" Which is not my favorite, but it's not bad.
I like this one. I will say this. So some of the changes they touched up on were like, because basically the story is the same, but just little things here. So, for one, Ariel does not just fall in love with Eric just because he's the first person she sees, even though that does happen, even though she is the first human he sees. The change they make is that Eric's motivation is different. His overall life goal is to expand his kingdom across the world. The problem is that his mother.
Just let Jake finish.
No. Not like. No, I'm sorry. I phrased that wrong. He wants to like start like trading with other people, getting to know other cultures, that type of thing. That's what he wants to know.
Yeah, you should have let Jake finish, Austin.
I was about to say. Okay, so now Prince Eric's a colonizer is what you're telling me.
Wait. No one's about to wait for him to finish saying this whole.
No, I was not gonna fix what I said because I did not realize what I said. Sorry.
No, can I tell you? Can I tell you a thing I liked that they changed slightly?
Well, wait. I wanted to finish.
Now you won't let him finish. That's
I wanted to finish.
Let Jake.
I thought you were finished.
No. What I liked about this was that it was a nice parallel to Ariel because Ariel's motivation in the movie was her wanting to go to the surface world and explore it and get to know it. And both of their parents are in a position where they're like, no, because they're scared of what could be out there, basically. And so that's when Ariel sees him basically give like a speech similar to what she was giving. She's like, oh, there's someone like me. That's basically why she falls in love with him this time around. I thought that helped their relationship a lot. Do you want to go through a case that you liked as well?
So, you know how in the original movie we had the kiss the girl scene and Eric was trying to figure out what Ariel's name was. Well, they changed that part just a tiny, tiny bit. So, what they did was instead of Sebastian telling Eric, Ariel and Eric were looking at the stars, and Ariel points to Aries, and what she does when Eric says Aries was that she put her finger on his lips and just like dragged it down several times until he got the hit, which I really liked that. I just really liked Ariel and Eric's like interactions in this movie a lot more than the original.
They felt more good because also Ariel's another thing they also fixed. It was a small change, but I appreciated it because it helped with something later. They changed Ursula a little bit. Ursula is also the aunt of Ariel, but like before,
aunt.
Yeah, she's like Ariel's aunt.
Always aunt.
Oh, she was? Okay, cool. Okay, I can't remember that. Okay. I liked that though because I was looking at the original scene and I don't remember them ever mentioning that.
No, it wasn't. They weren't related in the original movie, but they changed it because I believe in the book.
Oh, in the book. Oh, okay.
I just want to know people's biology, because how can you have a child that's both a mer person and the other child's an octopus person?
Don't worry about it.
Well, have you seen Triton's daughters in these movies? All right, he's clearly.
We don't have to worry about that, okay?
But no, what I liked about this change was that it made the manipulation a bit more like better, because Ursula relates how she doesn't really feel betrayed. She's just being powerful. She's pretending as if she was wronged by her father, just like Ariel was as well. And this is the connection she uses to reel Ariel in. And what I also like is that despite all of her proposition to her, Ariel actually says no initially. And when she finally says yes, she doesn't actually say yes ever. Ursula kind of wheels her in and kind of gets her in like half motion.
Oh,
and when Ariel,
can I say another thing? It's relating to yours. It's relating to yours. I promise. So you know how in the original, Ariel signs the scroll and everything. Well, they actually changed that. There was no scroll. Basically, she gave one of her scales to Ursula instead. It
wasn't even like she gave it to her, because while Ariel's still deciding, she floats him and jets him already take the scale off her. Basically, she's really pressuring her into this decision. And again, when Ariel says no, Ursula goes like, "Well, then you're just going to be stuck with your father for the rest of your life. Is that what you want?" And Ariel's just got off of like a heated argument with her father, so she really doesn't want to go back to him. So it was just these things that kind of sold Ariel's like decision to where even where it's a dumb choice, I get why she would come to that conclusion, basically, and how she would get there. It just helped a lot better. As opposed to the original, when it was like, "Well, don't you want to be with that boy, that handsome boy?" She's like, "Yes, sign away," you know. So I like that little change as well. But there
was a lot of small changes that I liked. Can I mention another thing that I just absolutely loved for how little screen time that she got?
Yes,
I loved Vanessa.
Vanessa?
That was the alter ego of human version. The human version.
Oh, the human version of Ursula? Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, she
I just like how completely deranged she was. It was great.
And they even changed that bit too, because in the cartoon version, Eric was possessed the whole time. But in this one, every time he's away from her, it's kind of like he's waking up from a dream. He's like, "Wait a minute, why am I marrying? What's going on? What's happening?"
I just liked how Ariel and Vanessa just got into a cat fight.
Yes, over the formula too. But one of the things that was throwing me off. So okay, I guess we obviously have to talk about it. It's clear there was some diversity changes. Okay, and for the most part, I was okay with them. But there was one that caught me completely off guard, because up until this point, Eric is just like a white guy, right? You go to his palace, and his mom is just black, and it threw me off. What?
But didn't they mention in the movie that he wasn't even born into this?
They imply it. They implied it in an organic way, but that comes way later. So my first introduction to Eric is Like, whoa, what? Well, who's this?
Yeah, that did kind of throw me in for a loop, but honestly, I just got used to it over time. I
Yeah,
was like, you know what, whatever.
She's a good actress. It was just, every time I came back to it, I was like, wow, okay, that was bizarre.
Okay, now here's a question about the Ariel sisters. Do they all have the same mother?
We
They
don't know.
imply that no, there's a small line that implies they do, because when they talk about their mom, they're talking about Ariel's mom.
Yeah, they always had the same
Okay.
mother. Why?
Yeah, no, but he's saying
Also,
like he's saying in this version, because they're all different races. He's asking, do they sound the same? That's what he's saying.
also, one of the sisters literally
Yeah.
looks like Weishni.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you look up,
The ones that are racist.
if you
Okay.
look, if you look up Ariel's sisters in the live action Little Mermaid one like movie, like if you see like a picture of all of them together, you see the one with the white hair, you're gonna be like, yeah, that looks like Weiss.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Another
Nah, I think it's right.
Speaking of Ariel's mom, another thing I like that they actually added was giving Titan even more of a reason to hate humans, because we find out in this version, I don't know if it's in the book, but Ariel's mom was killed by humans.
Oh, it was in the second
That's
movie.
that,
It was in the
that's
movie.
part of the original canon of the Disney Little Mermaid.
Okay.
It
Okay.
was also shown that in the sequel movie that
Then-
she was killed.
I
Okay.
think that was also part of the reason why King Triton was also extra protective of Ariel, because Ariel bears a striking resemblance to her mother compared to her other sisters.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can't remember if that was the original or not. So in my head, I thought that was a change, but that's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
I did like that though. I don't know what, because we did watch The Little Mermaid together for like a movie night. So I don't know why that movie just for me was so forgettable. But this version, I was like, yeah, I get it. I get like
Also,
the
they for anyone who didn't know, they changed Scuttle from being a seagull to like one of those birds that can swim underwater, like
Yeah.
can fly underwater.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't
Oh,
remember
Pelican?
No, not a
Right.
pelican.
I wouldn't know birds. I'm not a bird person.
Anyway,
If you know, you know.
did
But-
they
Well-
put in Ursula's sad backstory?
No, we got Ursula makes her grievance more so that Triton got all the powers and she didn't, and that was really her beef. So they didn't
Oh.
make her. They didn't give her a crybaby backstory. It was just more like, I just want
I don't
power.
know.
Which I'm kind of glad that
In
they
the
didn't,
official
because she
Ursula
doesn't
book-
need it.
In the official Ursula book, he kind of screwed her over
That's
for the
Okay.
true.
kingdom.
Okay.
So like
So
she
maybe-
had a legit
But
grievance
I'm
with
glad that they didn't do that, because that's part of the reason why I won't
Well,
watch.
okay.
Cruella.
She does talk about it like she was slighted, but they don't go into it like they don't try to like be like, oh, Ursula, maybe things were different. Like it's just like it was just a throwaway thing. It felt like. I also do like. I don't remember this in the original too, but the humans right off the bat did have a problem with mer people as well. It didn't really lead to much, but I did like that it was there because it explained Eric's thing, like why his mom was afraid to going out to sea, because they're afraid that like the mer people are gonna like throw them off the boats and ruin their ships.
And kill them with their
they did
siren song.
murder a woman and a man declared war. I'm sure you would be too.
Right. And I didn't like that too. I like how the parents are justified. I like Eric's rational decision, making of wanting to expand because he's afraid of the rest of the world leaving them behind. I like that as well. But now I guess I got to talk about things I didn't like.
Can I
Yeah.
start off with one?
Yeah, go ahead.
So at the end of the movie, when Ariel and Eric are going off on their honeymoon, and when King turned Ariel back into a human, I hated the fact that he didn't give her the dress that she had at the end of the animated movie.
He didn't deserve it.
I completely forgot that, to be honest, but I get you.
That's just a minor gripe.
Mine isn't.
Did not like that one song.
My gripe isn't minor. In fact, it's near the very beginning. The first time you see Ariel, you get introduced to Sebastian, and he's voiced perfectly. But Jesus Christ, why did they make a realistic? It does not look right.
Oh, for Flounder?
Yeah, Flounder. I'm sorry, Flounder. My bad, Flounder. I'm sorry. The little fish guy. Sebastian, I got used to over time, as long as they weren't focusing on his face too much.
Yeah,
It was
same.
Flounder was just like, oh my god, why didn't you just give him like a cartoon face? Call it
no, but no, for real. Did you see like some of the potential like versions of Flounder and Sebastian we could have gotten? I'm kind of glad that they went with the more realistic look, but at the same time, it did kind of throw me off for the longest time.
Well, they were smart enough to keep Flounder out the movie as much as possible. But
it was like this weird uncanny valley. I was surprised that I didn't hear no little kids screaming in the theater.
It just didn't really work. I get why Disney, when they do live action, they don't want to commit to like the cartoony things, but like, maybe do like a little Paramount Sonic movie magic with the animals. They look like they belong in the world,
Yeah.
I do love the actress for Ariel singing her singing in the first song. I was like, Jesus, she's amazing. So
Halle Berry is an amazing singer and actress.
Yeah. I don't know this person, so this is like my first introduction to her. Maybe I've heard of her, but I wasn't attention. So I was amazed by how well she was doing in that role. So personally,
she was doing great.
Yeah.
So Halle Bailey also did the vocals for Vanessa's like song, I guess you can say, because obviously it's Ariel's voice. It makes sense. Yeah. But it was like really good. But I don't know why this was a weird nitpick for me. But the eels, they're supposed to have like one glowing eye and one like really dark colored eye. I guess I'm just so used to Twisted Wonderland that with the twins in there who are based off of these eels, which I don't trust those shady twins for the life of me. I would rather die than have those two save me, but whatever. They'll make me sign a contract. But no, I was like, give them their glowy eyeball. Like, I know they like played into the illusion of that, but it's like, give me back their eyeball. Give me their glowy eyeball.
Now there will be people who are comparing this to the animated movie and saying that this movie doesn't look as visually pleasing as the original. And after rewatching the original, I agree. There's really not much in live action you can make work compared to how great that art is. But, and I will say for the original, I can see how it could be memorable for a lot of people because of that. I would say that in a perfect world, I would take this version of the story and fuse it in with the animated movie, and I think it will make that movie like 10 times better, basically. Because the idea of teenage rebellion, which was what Ariel was kind of about, it feels a lot more earned in this movie than it ever did in the original for me. But I do agree that like it does lose some like visual flair. For instance, the scene where Ariel pops out the water and like you see the waves moving in slow motion around her and all this stuff. It doesn't quite fit in live action while they do try. It looks cool, but I know it's supposed to look cooler, basically. So.
I did like that they recreated the iconic Ariel hair flip.
Yes. It just, like I said, that was the scene I'm talking about. Yeah. It doesn't look quite as good.
Yeah, but in her defense, with like the braids and everything, and plus it's live action compared to animation, so you can only do so much. But from what they did, it was actually really good.
Yes. I do like when Ariel's singing as well, just the little time she takes breaks from singing to show like her frustration in situations or how she really feels. I don't remember if it's in the original. I do like the song where she finally makes it to the surface world and they let her sing in her head.
No, that was not in the original. She didn't really like have any songs after that.
Okay, so there's a music number that takes place when she gets on land, and it's in her head, and she's singing, and she's talking about all these things, and you see how she's interested in Surface World, but it's also not quite what she thought, and she's having reservations, but then she's like, but it'll probably be okay because when Eric walks in that door, he'll see me, and then when Eric walks in the door, he doesn't recognize her, and she can't speak, and she's like, oh, what have I done? I've screwed myself over.
But fun little tidbit: if you've been paying attention,
he's a favorite note.
If you were paying attention, you would see that the original voice actress for Ariel actually makes a cameo in the movie.
Oh, that's cool.
In the marketplace.
Yeah, they spoiled that before the movie.
Yeah,
but it was good. It was good. I liked it though.
Yeah,
they spoiled that for some reason.
All in all, if I was rewatching this movie, if I was watching Little Mermaid, personally, I would choose this version. I even like the send off of Ariel better, even though it's clear, like it's kind of clear that they're trying to do a diverse thing. Where all the mermaids they show at the very end are different people from different ethnicities. All that stuff. It's like so funny. But that said, I do like the send off
So
because
her
it's
mom was what you tell her.
Say that again?
Her mom was a rainbow, is what you tell her.
No, it wasn't just the kids. It was
Her
also the people.
mom like Skittles, is what you tell her.
Yes.
I have
But
a
it was-
random question, and I don't know if you can answer this, but where does this movie take place? Like, where is this setting?
I don't think it matters. It's just some old.
Like,
Because it looks like it's in like the Caribbean.
Yeah, it's supposed to be some isolated island, Caribbean island. I think that's where it's supposed to be because they don't know other people. So
If they still just use horse carriages, then that should say a lot.
Because this is a movie set in the
Atlantis, so it's
1800s.
right there. It's based on the Kingdom of Atlantis, so it's right there in the Atlantic Ocean. So it should be, let's say, like the Caribbeans, or like the Gulf of Mexico around the area.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I
was trying to like figure that out the entire time I was in the theater, but you know.
But the send off for King Triton and his people, his daughters and his people, and also Eric's mom and her people, as Ariel and Eric go off into the sunset, was actually kind of heartwarming, even though it was like clear they were trying to make some statement with the scene about how diverse the mermaids are. But it was the heart of the scene that worked for me, and I was like, okay, I can ignore all this. Just it's a good scene.
Nice scene. I just wish that Ariel would have gotten a different dress.
Yeah.
Instead of wearing like whatever.
Yeah.
Like, give me her victory dress back from the end of the anime.
Right.
So Cryptid, I think it was the last thing I got to address your thing. Yes,
I was about
Ariel
to
does
mention
kill Ursula. But Eric saves Ariel and gets her in the position to kill Ursula.
Can I say my piece real quick?
What's up?
Compared to the animated version, I feel like this climax was very anticlimactic.
I would have to rewatch. I would have to rewatch the original.
Didn't the animated movie start off with Ariel saving Eric, and then it ended off with Eric saving Ariel?
It goes in reverse here, so it's like no. Eric does, if I remember in the cartoon, Eric goes down to the sea to save Ariel, right? That's what he did.
Well, he kills Ursula with the bow, and then
in the beginning, like, Prince Eric was shipwrecked, right? His ship got destroyed, but it was Ariel who was able to bring his body, to the shore and save his life. So by the end, like, I would think like that's a pretty good statement to know that, hey, it isn't just Eric who's seen saving, Ariel, as a damsel of distress, but Ariel also saved him. So
she is perfectly capable of taking.
Let women be strong, bro. Damn.
This is how it basically boils down.
Ariel's breaking some other guy's feet. All right.
So this is how it boils down. As terms of like giving Eric time to shine, because even Ariel gives Eric credit when the father asks. But this is how it goes.
Yeah.
So this is how it goes down. Okay. Ariel is just confronted Ursula. Ursula's mutates her father, it takes her father's power away. Ariel's trying to get away, floats him and jets him, get her. Eric comes down, like spears those motherfuckers. Saves her.
Okay, so kind of like the same thing in the animated series. At least they kept that part.
That's what happened in the animated, right?
Accidentally kills the eels, and
that's
she gets very upset over that.
So I'm not crazy. That happened in the original, right? That's how Eric.
Yes, that happened in the original. She got very upset over that because those are like her babies.
No. What ended up happening was, okay, this is after Ursula grabbed the Triton and she now has the power, right? She was about to use that to, kill Ariel, up until Eric, who's swimming down the ocean, throws a knife and, cuts Ursula, right? And as Ursula was about to fire and kill Eric, it was Ariel who just pulled her hair. So she ended up misfiring and ended up shooting the eels.
And then they die, and she gets very upset over it.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then that's when, like, final battle happens where Eric, who knows what's like operating a ship, uses his skills to grab an abandoned ship and directs it towards Ursula.
Okay. So what the only thing that changes is that Ariel just gets the boat and Eric's holding off Ursula, and then.
But for me personally, it just felt kind of anticlimactic for me.
I don't even know if I would say it felt like a Disney climax to me. I don't. For me,
I would like to think because in the anime movie, right, Triton, he was hugely racist towards all humans whatsoever, and when he found out, and when he found out that Ariel has affections for a human, he completely despises the idea, hates it. How can you do this to us, Ariel? But I would think Eric saving Ariel was what kind of softened Triton up to saying okay, the humans maybe aren't that all bad.
Well, that's what.
Yeah, she still gave Eric credit for saving her.
Yeah,
she tried giving it, but who was the one who actually achieved it?
It doesn't matter. He didn't see it.
No, if it wasn't for Eric, Ariel would have died at the bottom of the sea before she even got to the boat. And then if it wasn't for Eric, again, Ariel couldn't have even gotten the boat in position. Ursula was distracted dealing with Eric because she was mad that he killed Flotsam and Jetsam. So she was too distracted with him and Ariel. So it was really Eric and Ariel together that beat Ursula. And that's why she says, if it wasn't for Eric, I couldn't have saved you. And so he's like, okay, I guess I'll get
I guess I don't hate you now, Eric, but you better not do anything stupid.
I don't know. It sounds like you're trying to sell me a whole milk and say it's 2% milk or something like that. Yeah.
That's literally what happens. Dude.
That's what happened in the movie. But like I said, at the end of the day, I think this version story-wise is the one that I would rewatch. And I think it also accomplished its goal. It wanted to show that was what I also wanted to get into. My big thing with this movie, at first, I was like, the diversity thing was just kind of here or there. And then I had a talk with somebody, and he was like, yeah, I was talking with some people, and I noticed that they had little kids, and they did like seeing that there was someone who looked like them. And I was thinking about it, I was like, this is gonna be a one-time movie. This is not gonna be a franchise. This will be the first and last time you're gonna see this type of movie. It doesn't ultimately matter. And when are they doing another Little Mermaid?
No, but if the diversity hires in this movie paid off, they will just keep doing them on the remake.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If for me, it doesn't, because when the people go to these movies, all they think is the original is going to be better anyway. Every time there's a Disney remake that comes out, the first thing people say is why'd they do a remake? It's going to be the original is better anyway. So I mean, and we live in an age where the original is already on Disney Plus, easy to access. You only have to pay the movie if you don't want to. But people see these anyway. So I mean, again, if you don't want these movies to make money, first off, don't see it. Secondly, it's not really hurtful, in my opinion, at least how I'm seeing it. So that's kind of.
I think it is to the degree of. I don't like this mindset of people thinking that someone had to look like them for being able to relate to a story.
I think it's
the same thing happened when we watched Puss in Boots, where people were complaining that the story wasn't good or deep because they couldn't relate to him being a cat.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about?
I think that's weird too. I just know that there's an audience out there and it really seems to empower them. And I don't see it going away. There's Austin, because I talk to you sometimes, and I'm like, there are a lot of things for audiences I will just never understand. One of them just being crying during movies. I don't know how someone could be that emotionally attached to a film, show. Or how could you look at a character and that has to look like you for you to identify with it, But there are audiences like that.
I'm not arguing that they can't do stuff like this. It's just always going to be weird for me when changes to an established thing is done for that.
Right.
When you could have tried to do something original for these people specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And, not had a controversy, not had anything.
Yeah. I think also it's also a case-by-case basis as well. But yeah, if kids get inspired by stuff like this, and it's clearly they are because this movie's making money apparently,
And I went opening Friday, so you know.
Yeah, good on them.
Mhm.
As long as it's good, of course. We're not just asking for diversity for diversity. It has to be good as well. And I think this movie is one of the better Disney remakes. So
it's up there with Cinderella and Maleficent for me.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway, well, credit before we end it, I want you to see this. Across the Spider-Verse is getting a spin-off manga by the creator of the My Hero Vigilantes storyline, and it's Doc Ock awakens in the body of a Japanese teenage girl.
Oh God.
You need to send me
It's called
that.
Spider-Man.
You need to send me
It's
that
called
right
Spider-Man
now.
Octopus Girl. I already did. It's literally in the chat.
Only in Japan.
I'm just
I still need to read the Four Town manga that came out.
I'm just imagining all the hentai or the doujinshis that are going to come off of like an auto in a tentacle with tentacles in a female Japanese woman's body. Like,
No, my brother credit. He's still Spider-Man though. That's why I don't understand. I'm confused. Like no, in the picture right here, it's literally Spider-Man Octopus Girl, and they have a picture of the Spider-Man art that they're going to be using. So, is this Superior Spider-Man getting switched with someone else again?
well, they had
being switched with a girl who happens to already be Spider-Man.
Or it could be based on like what was her name, Sakura Spider from the Deadpool manga. Good.
It's not her. It's not her. That's confirmed.
Gotcha. Well, we'll see. I'll see if I could take a look at this when it comes out.
This came out mid Little Mermaid conversation, and I was so ready for y'all to stop talking so we can start bring this up.
Look, a bonus topic to end the night. When you look at that.
Why not? Why not? I'm looking up fish plants, like sea plants, right now to put on Austin's wall. So
it's probably not go in the original video. It's probably gonna be a review section. So.
Gotcha.
There you go. There you go. Your first short.
But that's Phanatic.
That's it for the show.
Yes.
Okay. Any you guys want to plug in anything before we leave?
I can because I have all the socials apparently. First off, foremost, you can follow the Twitter account at Comic Phanatics 69 on Twitter. We might not have a TikTok for a while, but if we do, I'll definitely plug that in. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at witch_of_Jotunheim. And on Twitter, you can follow me at witchofjoten with an E instead of a U in the Jotun part. You'll figure it out. You guys are smart enough. So, yeah.
That's you can follow me in real life, but I might fight you. And that's about it.
I have a laugh outside of Comic Fanatics, so the only place you guys can find me is over here during Fanatic Night Talks.
Jake, anything?
You won't find Jake. You kids won't find Jake. Don't even try. It doesn't. He's gone.
All right, guys, let's end tonight. So, bye, everybody.
See you later.
Later. Get out, witch.